Join me as I walk through this build of a California name board made out of all natural redwood and cedar. Hey everybody, just got a rush order in. It is 11:38, almost midnight here. This order is for Melissa. So Melissa is a family friend. She is moving out of California and going to Tennessee to start a new chapter, which that's awesome, great for her, amazing. But she wanted to kind of commemorate her time in California, so commissioned this piece. We need to rush and get it done before she heads out. So let's get to it. All right, we're all glued up, ready to go. I had to cut that big board on the scroll saw tonight, so I didn't really want to bust out the miter saw or the table saw. It's a little too loud for midnight. Neighbors wouldn't appreciate that. So let's get over to the scroll saw and get these cut out and good to go. So first thing I want to do is separate the California outline from the name. So I'm going around California, popping that out and getting that out of the way. And I'm going to trim some of the waste off here to get that out of the way as well and make it a little easier to spin everything around. Now, because I went with a cursive font, the first letter is never connected, so I'm going to separate that first, make it easier to work with. Then I'm going to go ahead and try and get everything cut around on the edges first here, then I'll go back for the detailed pieces. Alright, so now starting on those details, cutting V's to make sure all of those edges are nice and sharp as best as possible. Then I need to drill a pilot hole to get in and thread to cut that interior waste. And I really like threading. It's one of my favorite things to do on the scroll saw. It's a little tedious. Not a lot of people like it, but I really enjoy it. So we're going to drill the rest of these holes out, get the interiors threaded and cut out, and we're going to wrap up this name and then move on to the California outline. Alright, so now we are cutting out the California outline. So we're going to start with the straight lines first and get that all cut out. And you can see I didn't try and cut that angle right off the bat. I'm going to remove this waste piece first, then go back in and make sure that's sharp. Now we're going to just take our time, let the blade do the work, and work down the outer edge here, getting all those curves and little indents. Then slice it off, and there we go. Alright, so we got the California and the Melissa cut out last night. Now it's this morning. We need to get this mounted onto the cedar backer. So let's get this laid out real quick. Just mock it up. Not sure how I want it yet, but yeah, just about that. Leave a little bit of room there. Will give us a little bit of wiggle room. So cut it to about like that. That should be good. Alright, let's get the miter saw out and cut this to length. I have a love-hate relationship with sanding. It's therapeutic in a way, but it gets old really quick as well. One or two pieces is never an issue, but after you've sanded 3 or 4 and you look over and the pile is still sitting there staring at you, it gets kind of tedious. One of the benefits of doing these name boards is there isn't a lot to sand. There is only the usually small backer, and then of course the name and shape, but those are hand sanded for the most part, and they're not too bad. So here I'm using the compact router to go ahead and do the edge work on the backboard. So this is one of the messiest parts of doing these name boards. The router just shoots debris absolutely everywhere. One of the next projects that I need to tackle coming up is creating a router table. It'll make doing these a lot easier. Right now I have to clamp the pieces to my workbench and rotate them around so that I can get the router to do that edge, and then unclamp, rotate again, and keep doing that until everything is done. And it's just kind of tedious and takes longer than it should. Once I get that router table, I'll be able to just work that one board around the router on the table and get it done in like 1 or 2 passes. So looking forward to that. Another project for another day. Now I'm going to apply the finish. I'm using 100% natural tung oil. So the lettering is cut out of redwood and the backing is cedar, but I want to give it a little extra weatherproofing and make that grain pop out as much as we can. So I like using tung oil. Some people don't like how it smells. I think it's fine. I think it's one of the better options, especially since it is food safe once cured. So to apply it, I'm just using one of those blue shop towels that you can get at any big box store. Sometimes I use a paintbrush, but they're a little hard to clean with the shop towels. It's one of those things where I can use it, lay it out, let it fully dry, and then just get rid of it and move on to the next one. Makes cleanup a little easier. So once the face has a nice coat on it, I'm going to go ahead and start getting all of those routed out sides with all those curves. So I just fold the shop cloth over, get it nice and saturated, and just work it into all of those edges. Now moving on to the redwood pieces. So the top and the bottom typically take the oil pretty well. The sides with the end grain usually take a little bit more. It likes to absorb it pretty quickly, so definitely needs a little heavier of a coat there. You can see I'm spending a little more time just rubbing it on and getting all of those edges. Especially with the California, I have to go in and get all of those little nooks and crannies everywhere and make sure they're all coated nice and evenly. So now the California is done. I'm going to go ahead and start on the lettering here with the M. So these letters have a lot of little nooks and crannies everywhere that's really hard to get the oil into. So again, using that rag, that shop towel, I'm just going to saturate it and try and work that oil in everywhere I can here. So I decided to cheat a little bit here and dunk the letter directly into the oil. Just made it a little easier to get everything coated, especially inside all of those cutouts. And I'm just going to wipe up the excess and let it drip back into my little bin there. So any extra that I have on the rag, I'm going to go ahead and dab onto that other piece that is up next. Try not to waste any of this stuff. So now on to the final piece here. This one was a little difficult with all of those letters so close together. It was hard to get everything completely coated with all of those small nooks and crannies, but just took some time using the rag to work everything in, and I think the results turned out quite nice at the end, so it was worth the effort. All right, so for the last little bit here, we installed the hanging hardware on the back there. It's just two little clips, and we are going to go ahead and brand with the logo on the back. So I really like this branding iron. It's the electric version instead of using a torch to heat it up. It takes about 10 minutes or so to get to temperature, but I think it does quite a nice job and makes it nice and easy at the end here. So yeah, there is the finished project. So Melissa, I hope you enjoy your name board with the California state outline and you have fond memories of your time here. But enjoy your new life in Tennessee. I'm sure a lot of new adventures lie ahead for you. Take care now.